Hello, fellow carbon-based lifeforms. Everybody knows about soul points. It's common knowledge that they haven't aged well mechanically over time. But today I'm not here to discuss how you could revamp or outright replace the system. No. Actually, this video is more of a speculation over the place of soul points in the Wynncraft universe and lore. There's a lot to talk about with this one, so I suggest grabbing a drink or a snack and relaxing with this video. Soul points are very ambiguous. Very rarely do they get talked about in game and in the lore. I mean, not even the wiki has anything about them, excluding the mechanic they fulfill, which can be summarized as wait to play. Though it's not clear if the term soul and soul points can be used to refer to each other as the same thing. In this speculation video I'll be using them as the same thing whenever they get mentioned. Your soul points are supposed to be you, your inner being, a soul that can be enraged, corrupted, mangled, hexed, or come together to form physical masses. Some items also may or may not imply that they can be found as mineral or be extracted from monsters as essence, manifest as weapon, armor, physical beings, plants, and even trees as seen in the nameless anomaly. The only thing the wiki mentions that it's supposed to represent your character's lives. But if you consider that soul points regenerate every morning, that kind of implies that the player is immortal, right? How does aging come into this? That I will never know. Like, even if you die, you don't stop existing. I know what you're going to say, and it's about the player being the main character, story, and dying, and player experience, yada yada. Right now, let's assume Wynn is a story we are just witnessing, okay? Consider this. At the end of the quest, Journey Further, Olador asks you to strike him down with the blade in front of the Eldritch Outlook gate. He quite literally says, "My soul will unlock the gate," which just directly confirms he specifically possesses soul points. This would also mean every other human has soul points too, including the people who you went on a mission with into the Silent Expanse. But then, where are they? Well, they're dead. They die for good during the quest Journey Beyond, and only you, the player, and Olador remain. This draws some questions as how many soul points did they have to have died for good after dying once? Wow, say that sentence 5 times over. Because even if you choose to play through the game on hardcore, you don't actually die when you get killed. Your icon just stops glowing red. Even if the player reaches an absolute minimum of 1 soul points, they just don't lose anymore. This point brings us to the importance of your items, because they seem to be tied to your soul, with the exception of a few items like mythics, horses, pouches, etc. As you lose more of your soul, you lose more and more items. Does that mean items make your soul stronger, but as you lose more and more soul points, your soul begins to get weaker to the point it cannot keep items safe anymore? But then what about tomes? Those are specifically soul-bound and can't be dropped even when on 1 soul point. It's kind of a strange mechanic. Doesn't really make sense in the lore, but hey, it's not my game. Gaining and losing soul points led me down quite a deep rabbit hole, if I have to be honest. My journey literally contained a part where I made a soul point regen set so powerful it could theoretically regen 4 soul points with it every morning, if soul point regen weren't capped at 2, that is. Why? Why is it capped at 2? Why? Why is it capped at 2? No one ever did that! No one ever made a soul point regen set. Why is it capped at 2?
You get no bitches!
Your default starting value for your soul points are 10, and you can gain permanent soul point slots as you level up. There are some inconsistencies with this mechanic, as level 75 used to be the absolute maximum level in Wynncraft before Gavel came out. If it were to work without a hard cap, by level 106 the player would have 17 soul points instead of 15. It wouldn't matter much, but it would make sense mechanically, but I'm sure some balancing plays into this. Interesting fact, by the way, if we assume every being has some sort of soul system, and they keep the principle of gaining 1 permanent soul point slot every 14 levels, and they would only begin to lose items at the 40% mark, that would mean the Canyon of Colossus would single-handedly take the most powerful being on the planet trophy, with an astounding 39 soul points, and it would only begin to lose items at 15. Orpheon would have 29 soul points and would begin to lose items at 11 or 12, depending on round-off, and the Anomaly would have 32 soul points, and it would start losing items at either 12 or 13 soul points. Well, now you know why sometimes you don't get shit from raids beside fucking accessories. Fuck off with the accessories. I don't need more necklaces. Stop! Anyway, you can gain up to 2 soul points every morning, which is about every 20 minutes if you don't switch worlds to speed this process up. Losing soul points, on the other hand, can be achieved in multiple ways, believe it or not. There's the obvious: death. But there's also things such as scrolls, leaving or creating a guild, and of course, how could I forget my boy Krolton, the only enemy in game that kills you so bad your actual body goes with your soul to the afterlife.
Look at them nice wax.
Which brings us to Beyond the Grave. Is a quest that's probably the only quest in game that tries to explain what happens if you die and how you can come back to life. Before even doing the quest, you are just naturally used to respawning every time you die, but after you do the quest, it puts it into perspective that after all, soul points are in fact a currency. You bargain with that so you can respawn. You leave a part of your soul as a compensation for reviving. Apparently the player has always wanted to live, since that does mention that he presents a choice to all beings to live or stay in the afterlife, but the player always chose to live. This fact never changes, as later on in the Point of No Return quest, you and your soul separate and you have to chase it and get it back so you two can unite again. But your soul is hesitant. Your soul is alive. It's a being. It's another consciousness living inside your body. You and your soul aren't the same, despite what the text says, and you and it has different thoughts. You and it may inhabit the same space, but your soul can live without you. Meanwhile, you cannot live without it anywhere besides the monolith. I find soul points so horrifying and morbid. Essentially, when you use a scroll, create a guild, leave a guild, or die, you're spending another conscious being's matter as your own, like it's a currency. And most of the time you don't even think about it because the soul cannot speak. It even mentions it in the quest, so it cannot object to your actions. It's forced to endure the pain you caused to it. Wynn always had a more deep and dark lore, but if you start thinking more about mechanics that on the surface level seem less important, you will quickly start to see that its tiniest details have some very interesting facts behind them. Now, we're reaching the end of the video, so I want to close it off with some speculation into the lore of the game. More specifically, Bakal. It's been established that Bakal is a human who got corrupted by the Nethergate in such a way where his consciousness remained, but his sole purpose changed to destroying the light and spreading the corruption. Now, since he is a human on the baseline, does that mean Bakal has soul points? If Bakal has soul points, maybe killing him once isn't enough. Every human besides the player seem to die forever once they get killed, so what about Bakal? I mean, death claims everyone's souls, but they can choose to come back to life. How would that work with Bakal, since he is a human? Or those corrupted souls never get to revive? I'll leave that question up to you. I already speculated enough about one guy. I guess we have to wait until we actually get another expansion, which would turn out to be the fucking Corcus Reborn update anyway. This was a way bigger topic than I was initially expecting. But hey, what did I expect? It's Wynn we're talking about here. I wanted to say thanks to my friends Yoshi and Dory for keeping me occupied the past year while I was inactive on YouTube. And you, of course, for actually deciding to wait for my upload instead of leaving. I guess you can call me a Wyntuber now that I made a fucking lore video. God. I'm not sure when the new uploads are coming, but I do have some in mind. I'll see you whenever I upload again. Or maybe if you see me in game, say hi. I play a lot. Anyway, bye. Hey, but what about soul point bombs?
Shut the fuck up!